decade in property, here's everything I learned so you don't waste the years that I did. This month, I turned 34 and I bought my first property when I was 19 years old, so over a decade now. And over the last 10 years, I have fucked up massively and also had some insane wins. And what I want to break down specifically is the top 5 lessons that I've learned being in this industry for over a decade. And what I want to do is go through what those years have really taught me. Number 1, think in the long term. This is a common denominator. I always say to people, if in doubt, zoom out. A majority of the people, I can tell how successful they're going to be based on how they communicate their timeframes. So somebody that says, hey, I want to achieve this by the end of the week versus here's the results I want to get in a month versus a year versus a decade, they're going to be more successful. So somebody goes, in the next 10 years, I want to achieve X. That automatically is somebody that's got a bigger vision, a bigger flagpole in the ground, having more direction. And it reduces the chances of them giving up on the journey. So the first lesson doesn't just apply to being a property investor, but it does make all the difference. You need to think about your long-term goals. This isn't something that everyone does naturally, by the way, and that's okay. Why would you? You've been indoctrinated from a young age into thinking term by term at school, year by year, GCSEs, A-levels, degree, go make a cup of tea for somebody who's a few years ahead of you, and every job promotion typically is 3 to 5 years. So it's okay if this doesn't come natural. But now you've heard this, so it's important to think about why you're investing, the purpose, and when you want to achieve the goal by, so that you can then start to think about the steps that you need in order to get you from where you're at to where you want to get to. So when you start thinking with the end in mind, you'll start to have more clear visibility of your property strategy. For example, for me, I knew a really big moment is I wanted to retire my mum. And I'm now working on creating a more financially stable future for myself and my family so that eventually I can take a step away from the day-to-day, have more choice in life when I have kids. All right, and that's a really big thing for me, that I want to be able to be there for every special moment. And that might sound really weird, thinking that as a 20-year-old, but that is what I thought about. I thought about retiring my mom and when I have kids. Now, part of that for me was fast-tracked to the fact that I lost my dad when I was 13 years old. So I feel that's always given me a deeper appreciation of life and the fragility of it. My dad was 38 when he passed away, and I always think that, as I get closer at 34 now, it's if I had 4 years, how would I operate? And it's given me that clarity, but you don't need something so dramatic to happen. It just so happened in my life that exacerbated that. So I know my why loud and clear. I then took a look at strategy. So for me, buy-to-lets are a great consistent strategy that provides this future stability. Number 2, you can be successful as a property investor and outsource. Letting go often makes you far more successful than holding on and trying to do everything and anything that needs to happen to get a property deal over the line. Now, at the beginning, I was doing it all. And I mean it all. But in doing so, I become very insular. It is far easier to lose track of your why when you get too stuck in the weeds. And with no why, you lose track of your strategy. And in property investment, that is a dangerous game. Building a portfolio is like building a business, and you need to keep an eye on those high-level figures, but you don't need to be doing everything along the way. You don't need to source it, negotiate it, refurb it, get it through legal, get the finance in place. You utilize other people, and when I realized this, I started to outsource more and more. And I was so passionate seeing the difference that it made that I also set this up for other people. And I created Aspire Portfolio. And it's really weird, but I literally created Aspire Portfolio, which is our portfolio building business, for me, selfishly. I wanted to create a team around me that could make my life a lot easier so I could focus elsewhere on making my money and invest it in property. Now we do this for people like you so that you can focus on being an accountant, a doctor, a dentist, a business owner, doing whatever you're doing, and we grow your portfolio for you. And by the way, if you want to have a chat about that, put grow in the comments to find out a bit more about it, and we can book in a completely free one-to-one strategy session. Outsourcing was a game changer for me. Nowadays, more and more properties join my portfolio each month, and all I need to do is sign off the deals and sign the legals. It's actually quite strange when I think about it that I've got over 100 properties in my portfolio, and I've maybe seen 10 of them, but the day-to-day running of the properties are managed completely by my portfolio manager. So when I say we do it hands-free, I literally designed it around us. So we've got a team that negotiate the deal for us, they get it through legals, they use our legal team, our mortgage brokerage, our refurb team, and then they hand it to my lettings company. What this means is, it's actually what property is meant to be for me, is to create freedom and dive into the things that I'm really enjoying. So I strongly recommend, whether that's with us or somebody else, you do it too. Number 3, regulations change. Get the fuck over it. The UK property investment space is an industry that is impacted by a lot of external elements. There's always this narrative that change is bad. And so you always find a slowdown in activity when it's coming up. And it really baffles me because people become uncertain. Whereas if I said to you, let's go back to point number 1, thinking in the long term, what's going to happen in property prices in the next 6 months? Let me know in the chat right now. Take 10 seconds and go up or down. That's all you need to do. The price is going to go up or down the next 6 months. Now, here's the answer. I don't fucking know. I really don't know. Whereas if I said to you, where are property prices going to be in 10 years, up or down? Put it in the comments. Now, hopefully, I'm looking in the comments right now at the end of this video and going, yeah, everyone said up, because it is a near guarantee. We've got 1,000 years of evidence where over a 10-year period, property prices have never gone down. So this is the thing that happens, and why I say build a bridge and get the fuck over it, is change is inevitable. But if you can focus on the zoomed out, which is why I say that line, if in doubt, zoom out, it allows you to focus in the long term. So as a property investor, you have to get used to it, and fast. And you have to block out this media noise that sells their newspaper based on fear, and instead look at data and facts and link this change to opportunity. And let me just give you a really simple example. Interest rates. Play this out with me, because this is one that, oh my God, interest rates have gone out. Every change is good. I'm gonna say that again. Every change is good. It creates fear, but it also creates opportunity. So interest rates are high. Oh my God, interest rates are really high. This is bad. Okay, why is it bad for property? Well, theoretically, because of the cost of debt, and people use mortgages to buy property. So then, if it's more expensive, do you think there's more or less people buying? Or less people buying, right? So if there's less people buying, that's less competition. If there's less competition to buy the houses, do you think you might be able to negotiate a great deal? Yes. Okay, so good then. And by the way, could you negotiate enough deal to cover the loss in the interest payments on a year-on-year basis? Yes, you could. Oh, and now that interest rates are up and therefore less people can buy, what happens to the people that were looking to buy? Are they suddenly on the street? No. Most cases, they're going to rent. Great. So now there's more people renting. If there's more people renting and less people buying, what happens to the cost of rent? It goes up. So as an investor, has this just got better for you all the way around? Yes. Now interest rates come down. Oh my God. Now it's really cheap. Well, what happens? Well, that's really good, right? Maybe. But interest rates come down, which makes it easier to buy, which means more people in the market, which makes it harder for people to buy. Now, the downside is there's more competition, so you're going to pay more for the next property purchase. That's bad, right? Well, maybe. But also the cost of debt has gone down. So now you're making more margin because cost of owning the property comes down, but the rents are still high. When's the last time you saw a landlord go, my costs have gone down, so I'm going to reduce them? It doesn't happen. Hopefully you're understanding this. And now that costs are down, it means that all of your existing portfolio also goes up in value. Every decision you make as an investor should be metric driven. So create a deal analyzer that you can mold with new regulation changes. Don't fear the change. You can't fear change if you want to be a successful property investor. You have to face it head on, rub your hands together, and get stuck in. Number 4, stop externalizing. It's the government, it's Labour, it's the renters reform, your brother, your mother, your sister, or your hamster. It's ridiculous. Stop externalizing and take ownership. You have to go from victim to victor. And over the last 10 years, I've met so many people who have a list of reasons that they haven't become a property investor. And by the way, it's not even the people that are broke, it's the people that have also earned money and they're like, I've got 200,000, but oh my God, what if I buy tomorrow and the market goes up? Well, it might do. Oh my God, and what happens if Brexit? What happens if Russia invades Ukraine again? What happens if Labour? What happens if this? Well, what's happened since then? It's gone up and up and up. You don't realise how resilient the market is. The thing is, you can get success or you can give excuses. You can't have both. This is the thing. Poor people are poor over the long term because they externalize. They become a victim of their life. And by the way, I'm not saying if you are financially poor right now, you don't need to stay there. I was also there. But the moment you start thinking as a victor rather than a victim, you start internalizing rather than externalizing, you start taking control of your life. And excuses cannot exist in success. I'll let you into a little secret. As much as my girlfriend likes to joke that I was born in front of a buy-to-let analyzer instead of learning how to crawl, it's not quite true. I was born into no property investment knowledge, a very blue-collar family, half of them on benefits, half of them working with their hands, which is great. And it wasn't until my late teens that I first heard about property as an investment concept, like most of you watching, through watching Homes Under the Hammer. I also wasn't born into a wealthy family. In fact, the opposite, as I just mentioned. My dad passed away when I was 13, and I'm not saying this as a feel sorry for me, but it's not the exact environment where you'd go, this kid's gonna be really successful, all right? The reason I'm saying this is I could easily be sat here going, yeah, but I didn't have much of direction in my life because my dad passed away when I was younger, and a lot of my family were on the dole and claiming benefits, and that's the way it was around my area, and people like me, we didn't get this. It's like, why? I'm not knocking people on benefits, I just want to be clear. But why do I need to be that person? Why do I need to blame? Why do I need to externalize? What if I said, well, my dad passed away when I was young and I realized that the impact that had on my family, and I want to make sure I'm in a position where my family are looked after, and that was the trigger point for me. I grew up in benefits and I saw what financial scarcity looked like, and I made a decision that I didn't want to grow up poor and I wanted my kids to be on the other side of the wealth cycle. What if instead of victimizing and externalizing, you used it as a reason to do the right things? So when you look at it that way, the odds aren't in your favor, neither are they against you. The reality is, if you grew up with wealth, sure, you have that head start, you've got more money to start with, more than likely you've got people around you that have a certain mentality, and I get that. But so what? Then you start the race 5 paces back, all right? You don't need a portfolio, you don't need loads of money, you need to make your choice and go all in. And for me, I knew I needed to do something to make it happen, which leads me to number 5, practice patience. I'm gonna be upfront, I'm a massive hypocrite on this. I am not very well known as a patient person, but you do need to be patient on the results, not patient with the actions. And so I'd really like to divide this up. You're not going to become rich overnight from property. It took me 5 years, which isn't a long time, but it took me 5 years of graft to make my first million. So I went from minus 33 grand to net worth millionaire in 5 years. And it was an insane feeling, but an insane feeling that took 5 years, not 5 weeks. And it's interesting from an external point of view, I was that overnight success. And I'm like, I've been sleeping in the office for the last 3 months. That's how many hours I'm working. Luckily, property is varied. There are lower entry points, so if you have less money, there's strategies more focused on that initial cash flow, and strategies more focused on generational wealth building. None of it is super fast, okay? You're gonna have to make the calls. You're gonna have to call a load of the leads. You're gonna have to do the marketing to get the leads. And ultimately, you've got 2 choices. Are you gonna do it yourself, at which point get educated properly, or if you've got the money to invest, 50,000 or more, outsource it. You double down. You're obviously earning money, which is amazing. Maybe you've inherited money, which is less amazing, but great that you've got that opportunity to do something with it. You can outsource that to somebody else. And if you do want to outsource to my business Aspire Portfolio, great. You could put grow in the comments. We'll have a chat. But if you don't, and you start to do things yourself, patience is going to be key to form your consistency. And consistency is the key to form your results. So there you have it, my top 5 lessons from over a decade in the UK property industry. Some of them I learned the hard way by getting punched in the face by reality, and others came from those insane wins that reminded me exactly why I started in the first place. And if you take anything away from this video, let it be this: property is not luck. It's not the perfect timing. It's a long-term game built on clarity. As Warren Buffett says, it's not timing the market, it's time in the market. You need a willingness to actually take the action. And whether you're just starting out or you're already building your portfolio, these lessons genuinely shape your success. If you want support on that journey, I've said it a few times, but I'd love to have a one-to-one chat with you where we can build your entire portfolio hands-free. You do need the money to invest in this, so this isn't for people with no funds. If you want to have a chat one-to-one, no obligation, you can put GROW in the comments. I'll send you a link, and if the spaces are available, you can book in a one-to-one chat with me or my team, and we will help you grow faster and safer and avoid these mistakes that I made early on and make 2026 your best year yet. I hope this has been valuable. If it has, make sure to hit the like button and let me know what you thought of the video in the comments and any other lessons that you've learned on your journey so far. And if you're not subscribed yet, I've got some amazing practical implementation videos coming up. So make sure to hit subscribe and the notification bell, and I'll see you in them.